everybody. This is What Would You Pay, where we help wine drinkers find a good bottle at a good price. I'm Pat the Wine Guy, and I've been drinking wine for a long time.
And I'm John Dick, and I haven't.
We shop for wine where you shop for wine.
At the grocery store and online.
Today we're checking out Vira's Barbera D'Alba 2017. Let me ask you this, John. When you think of Italian wine, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Italy.
Okay. This Barbera comes from northwest Italy in a region called Piemonte. It looks like Piedmont.
Piedmont,
Yes,
yeah, okay.
Pronunciation Piemonte. So this wine comes from an area that's famous for its big, hearty reds, Barolo, Barbaresco, and the wine we're drinking today, Barbera.
Ooh, the smell already. This is an interesting flavor, I guess. It's not what I expect from wine or red wine.
I get cherry out of it.
Cherries, yeah, sure. There's a little bit of fruit. Again, it's overwhelming flavor of like that smokiness. What is that smokiness that I'm tasting?
I think it's a combination of the soil, the terroir, and the grape itself. It's 100% Barbera. Do you taste the acidity?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do, but it's not overpowering.
No. High acidity, low tannins.
Interesting. On our scale then of sweet or dry, even though it's a little fruity, but again, it's a little acidic, where are you feeling that this is at?
Tending toward the dry side.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's plum flavors in there, there's cherry flavors in there, but I don't think the fruit overwhelms the acidity. And because it is that high acidity wine, I'd put it on the dry side.
You know what? I'm gonna take a few steps back. Because now that it's been out a little bit, now that I've had it a few times, I'm getting a little bit more fruity of the flavor of it now.
Yes.
It's like the smokiness is kind of like the waters have been parted. So I don't know, this isn't too dry for me though. This is still like a little sweet. Not sweet leaning, middle of the road probably is where I'll
Maybe it's
land
in
on
my
this.
head. I know it's supposed to be dry.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. What do you think about it on the interesting scale?
Oh, I think it's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I do too. I mean,
this
obviously.
is not your Cabernet, it's not your Pinot Noir.
This is not
it's
bland.
Zinfandel.
This is not bland at all.
Not at all. No, it tastes, it's very unique flavor combination.
Is this unique for Barbera?
No, this is what Barbera tastes like.
All the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just that we don't get a lot of it here. That's the problem.
No, and I think that the times that I've had Barbera here in the States, it's locally grown grapes.
They're growing some, and they're making some Barbera in California, tiny little bit in Oregon, and a tiny little bit in Washington.
I was gonna say, I've had Washington Barbera.
Yes, but you're right, it tastes different.
Regardless of what happens here, is this in Italy a food wine or a party wine?
This is food wine all the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you start with pasta.
Exactly.
And then you go to big red meat like beef or lamb, and like I said, this is a staple on the dinner table or at the restaurant in Northwest Italy. So you've got an idea of what the Barbera D'Alba 2017 is all about. John, what would you pay?
I always feel like I go under on these things, but you're telling me it's a working man's red or a working man's wine. That tells me it's going to be affordable, it's going to be ready for the table. I'm gonna hit this one at a $13. I would say $13 a bottle. Did I do it again?
You did it again. Oops, you did it again. This wine, in my shopping experience, low end $17, high end $27.
That's a margin.
Average price $24.
$24.
For this Barbera.
All right. So
And by the way,
I don't know where you're working, but it might be more white collar than blue collar.
Well, here again, it's $24 here in the US.
Good point.
It's going to be less.
Of course.
In Northwest
It'll
Italy.
probably be like €5 if it's going to be in Italy.
I don't have my calculator with me. I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, you're right. It's a little more. It's marked up here in the US.
Okay.
But I think it's a pretty good $24 bottle of wine.
And as this one is sitting here at the table with us, now that I smell it, I mean it's getting more and more fruity to me.
One recommendation about this wine, I opened it up 2 hours before we tried it. You really do need to give this wine a little bit of time
I see.
to air out.
Okay.
This is a 2017. It could go a little longer too. It could sit in your cellar and you could drink this in 2 or 3 years and be rewarded for your patience.
So is this easy to find? Can you find this at grocery stores?
It's not as easy to find as I would like it to be. Unfortunately, the Italian wine sections at most grocery stores is pretty small.
Right.
And even in that small section, this isn't a typical headliner. But you can find it on websites online. And speaking of websites, check out our website, patthewineguy.com, where we have reviews and recommendations on dozens of different types of wines. Sign up for our weekly newsletter where we talk about wine and life and everything in between. And follow us, Pat the Wine Guy, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm Pat the Wine Guy.
And I'm John Dick.
Join us next time for our next episode of
What Would You Pay?